Hey, so what you're about to hear is an interview that I did with my cousin, Joey Hutnick. I had a really good time talking to him, and I always do. He and I have really good conversational chemistry. But it was nice to really sit down and just really dig into how he became the person that he is and learn about some of his formative experiences. If he at all seems like he's a little bit full of himself, I think it only seems that way because, A, he is a very confident person, which you'll learn from the talk, but also because I very specifically prompted him to talk about himself because that was the whole point of the interview. But he really is a wonderful guy, and I look up to him a lot. He's like a brother to me, and I think that this was a great talk. I really enjoyed it a lot, so enjoy.
I am super duper cereal.
Cool. Well, first, thanks for doing this.
Of course. Happy to.
Yeah.
Yeah, why not?
I'm excited to talk to you because I talked to your parents. You're the first person out of that generation that I'm talking to, so I'm curious to see.
Oh, really?
Yep.
So it was your mother, your father,
No,
my mother?
I didn't do my mom yet.
Oh, you didn't?
I did my dad and your parents.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And they were all wonderful, all different in their own ways, ways that I'm sure you
Did
can
you do my
imagine.
parents separately or together?
Separately.
You did?
And
Smart.
Yeah. That's it.
I don't know. Fucking do it later.
I have to put my phone in airplane mode, though. I remember to do that.
Oh, so it doesn't disrupt you.
So I don't get any,
Yeah. You would have a fucking crazy little fucking pattern that you draw to unlock your
It's
phone.
practically just a loop. If
I
you
know.
Look at it, yeah. Is the kid banging on something upstairs?
It's possible.
Oh, whatever.
Who knows? I'll be fine.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's a new toilet, so fuck it.
So, who is Joe Hutnick Jr.?
I don't know, man. I'm almost hesitant to even start bringing it up because I feel like I realize that I am very much my job.
Okay.
And I think it's because of my inability to kind of relax about shit, but I really would define myself as a manager.
Okay.
It is what I do for work, but it's also what I do at home. I manage.
You know what? Because I've seen you in the wild.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you know what I mean by that, but
Yeah.
You do have sort of an overbearing. I don't mean that in a negative way.
No.
But an overbearing presence in a lot of situations, and the fact that you're a big person is definitely a part of that. But you seem to have really embraced the fact that you kind of have just a presence and by consequence inherent power in a lot of situations. But on top of that, you're a really great, nice guy, which allows people to trust you and just be receptive to you just talking to them.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I remember Joe has always said to me. Castro's always said this to me, and he's always said, dude, you fucking had he says, everything has always been so easy for you. And it has. I have had an extremely comfortable life. Growing up, every jobs I've ever had, the money I've been able to earn, the people I've been able to deal with, the positions that I've been, this is my thing, because he's always said this to me, and I've kind of been offended by it, but I realize that absolutely I've had fantastic opportunities laid before me. But what I've done with those opportunities is what makes me feel good about who I really am deep down, because I've never taken anything for granted. I've always been extremely grateful for the opportunities that I've had, and I've worked very, very, very hard with those opportunities that I saw potential in for me to be able to grow.
Potential in yourself.
Potential in myself and potential for my future to be able to push myself in those right directions.
In other words, you're a very confident person.
I'm extremely confident.
Yeah.
I'm an extremely confident person. Yeah, I definitely consider myself a very confident person.
Yeah.
I think confidence is important. I think confidence is Everything.
Yeah.
I think confidence is
It's a
everything.
cliche statement, but
it's
it's
one of the other
absolutely
reasons
true.
too that I think people are more receptive and easier to trust me.
Yeah.
Because of the way I present myself, yes, not only being fucking 6'5" and 240, 50 pounds, whatever I am now, probably, who knows, maybe up to 260. It doesn't seem it in my face.
We should probably get that 100% accurate.
Yeah, let's find out. You know what? I gotta go change the battery.
We'll cut it in later and we'll come back.
Yeah. So being that I'm a big person, yeah, because I don't think about it too, because Lauren's always bringing it up with me, how I don't realize how big I am.
Yeah.
I don't realize how loud I am sometimes. I don't realize how much my voice carries.
Well, the family that you grew up in, I don't want to say enabled that attitude, but that's the best way I can think of putting it, because you're all big, loud people.
We're all big,
so
loud
when you go
people.
out into the world, they're like, gee, they're awfully big and loud, aren't they?
Yeah, we're a whole bunch of Vikings and fucking, what do you call it? Vikings and Amazonians. Amazons.
Yeah. So since work was, pretty much the main thing that you brought up and your attitude about it, how did you end up? So can you just state what you do?
I'm a manager. I manage a paint store, an automotive paint store.
Okay. And how did you end up on that path of?
As a matter of fact, it's my father being a painter. Mm-hmm. I've always worked with him.
Yep.
On the summers and stuff like that, weekends, and it was pretty much it was always my fallback thing that I was always able to paint. It was a good position because my father had his own business for a long time. Mm-hmm. Even when he was working for other people, though, he had gotten me jobs over summers and stuff like that because he's always taught me to paint. As long as I can remember. I remember being so young, doing work with my father that I couldn't even reach all the way up a door to sand that he could only sand the tops of the doors when we were prepping to paint.
I could probably reach the top of it.
Yeah, now. But I remember being that young that I didn't. So it was always being in paint. Because of that, I was working with my father. I went into a store to go pick up product. I literally got off a ladder. My dad was like, run to the paint store quick. I already ordered the paint. Go talk to
Position I've been in many times.
Yeah, you're just good, gopher, because my father's fast, and as fast as I am, my dad's still faster painting, but
yeah.
So I went, and I'm guessing with my presence, I pretty much got a job opportunity, and this is probably 15 years ago?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was probably, no, it was like 19, 18, I was out of high school, and I was able to drink, so I was probably about 22 years old. Probably about 21, because I moved out of my parents' house when I was 22. So yeah, so I went in, I talked to the paint store manager, and we just started bullshitting. Real quick, I grabbed the paint.
We can't swear in this.
Oh, no?
I'm just kidding.
Oh, it's going to be hard for me not to curb myself. He called me. I left the store, and he probably called me a half an hour later. And he must have gotten... No, I went back to the job. My father told me he had called my father's cell phone and said he wanted to talk to me. So I ended up going into this guy's store, and it's an architectural paint, house paints, decking stains and stuff like that for house painting, which is what my father always done. So I had a background in how to do that. Yeah. But I never knew anything about paint. I started working for that guy. I ended up getting hired by another guy, and I would say within the first 2 weeks of me being in the store, the guy handed me the key and said, you're going to be the manager of the store. Quick. It was very, very fast, and I got kind of just thrown into it. But that's usually how I am able to do much better. I'm always jumping into the deep end kind of person. Yeah. A lot of things, I'd rather full-fledged go right at it, figure it out. You know what I mean? Right.
Maybe overstate your qualifications just slightly.
No, I wouldn't bullshit. No. Nope. I'm always very honest with customers. I might kind of.
I don't mean about with customers. I mean like as far as like, hey Joe, you think you can handle this? Yeah, no problem.
100%. But I mean, you're always gonna find situations where you're kind of like, oh crap, maybe I'm in over my head.
Well, I was talking about this with somebody that's probably the best thing to do.
It is
to just go in just a little over your head so you have room to grow.
And not only that,
you don't want to be overqualified.
Exactly. If it's gonna be something that you're stagnant doing, you're never pushing harder.
Right.
You're never trying harder. Right. I'm constant. Like I always doubt myself. And that's why I think I'm successful. Yeah. Because I think I'm not doing a good enough job, I work harder.
Would a better way to state that maybe be that you hold yourself to a very high standard and you want to make sure you meet that standard?
Yes. Okay, yes, I definitely think that I want to.
I was having this conversation with somebody because a lot of people hold themselves to a high standard, but some people use that standard to compare themselves to and then get down.
about where they're at, and some people use that standard as something to strive for and as motivation.
Yeah, I definitely think it can get me down sometimes too, though.
Sure.
It definitely does. Most recently, but anyway, so I was working as architectural. I got hired by an automotive paint sales company to start a whole extra architectural division, a whole separate company.
Wow.
Like I'm literally I'm the only manager out of 46 stores who's got his name on 2 different stores.
Wow.
Yeah, I work for a company and I run another
So it's
company.
a company that made automotive paint wanted to start making
Made all
architectural
automotives. They sold automotive paints.
Right.
Like a big company. There's 46 different stores across the country, all up and down the East Coast. And I was hired to start a whole separate division for them, which is under a different company. And we set up a store. It was a beautiful setup and everything like that. I got overpassed as the manager of that store. I was brought on as a team member of this.
Okay.
And it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got overpassed 5 times. They put other people in the manager position, and they weren't good managers.
Yeah.
It's not that they were horrible managers. They just didn't care as much as I did, and I was running the store. I was running the store. I was doing all the ordering. I was doing all the...
From a non-manager position.
From a non-manager. I was an assistant manager.
Okay.
But I was doing, everything.
Yeah.
Shipping, receiving, customer service, answering the phones, taking the orders, doing deliveries. I did everything because I like to keep busy.
Yeah, yeah. Like you
And
helped with everything.
I helped with everything.
Yeah.
So...
It wasn't a one-man operation. But
No, by all means, but I had my hands in everything, and still to this day, even my boss now says to me, he goes, Joe, that's somebody else's job. And I said, yeah, but if I know how to do it, he goes, thank you, but no.
Yeah, it's useful attitude, but in practice you don't have to go there.
I don't need to go that extra mile. He's extremely happy with what I do as it is already, so it's good. But so anyway, I ended up saying to one of my bosses, they ended up letting go two of the basically the district manager and then the main manager in the store.
Yeah.
And I realized over a week or two that this guy, one of the other guys in the company, once he let these other 2 guys go, he kind of put me in the same category as those guys, thinking I wasn't doing stuff. And I pulled him aside. I said, "Dude, listen, I'm going to tell you right now." I said, "I'm the one that you want running this store."
Yeah.
I said, "I've been doing it the whole time. You need to give me a shot." And not that I really like the guy. I think he's a fantastic person, but I just don't think he's got the balls to make moves, say what needs to be said, and get jobs done. He gets shit done. I'm not taking that away from him. I think he's a fantastic guy, and I do consider him a really good fellow employee in this company.
Yeah.
But he doesn't have the balls I have to say, nah, dude, this is how it's going to be done. I'm going to take care of it. If that fails, you can tell me I screwed up. So he was just...
I just want to interject and say that's a very strong personality trait, to be confident that in situations you're going to be able to present yourself in that kind of way where you know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Because it's very easy to go not the opposite direction, but in such a way that you kind of let the person you're talking to be like, yeah, maybe you know what you're talking about more than I, but to know what you know,
right?
You know what I mean, and just be super assertive about it. That's
and that
very desirable,
and even now I find myself all the time like, ooh, well, I really need to think about how I'm going to say this,
right?
Because I like to be very to the point. But you kind of got to be PC, air quotes. You got to kind of be PC with people to the point that you don't want to offend somebody. You don't want to try to pull stuff away from their ability to do it. You don't want to pull something away from them and say, dude, you're not doing it like this.
You have the good parts of your father's attitude.
Absolutely, 100%, absolutely. Yeah.
You've refined them.
Exactly.
Combine that with your mother's
with my
compassion.
100%.
Yeah.
Like, I really do feel like I got the best out of both of them.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
I think it'll be really cool to listen to this after listening to your parents and see how the parts of it.
I totally am. I totally have all
really
the confidence from both of them, all of their work ethic from both of them, my mother's managerial skills, my mother's accounting ability, my father's stubbornness in some ways, you know what I'm saying? And I do. I really do feel like I've honed those things into I consider myself a very good person. I'm caring. I really do care about people. I don't like to offend people. But yeah, so So basically, this guy ended up putting me in the position. I ended up getting the manager position, and then I was just not happy. He was not helping me get crap done.
Yeah.
And I put in my 2 weeks notice, and within like 3 hours, the owner of all these stores was like in my store. And it was like, what's going on? I said, well, dude, I put in my 2 weeks. Well, why? What's the problem? Blah, blah, blah. We went over everything. And
That's a ballsy move.
oh, 100%. And he doubled my salary, gave me an extra week's vacation, another day off a week. So I was like, done. Of course, I played it off like, well, you know, let me go home and talk this over to my wife. Where in my mind, I'm like, da 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 da, da, like 100%. So that ended up going on for probably about another 2 years, and then they hired another new district manager.
Okay.
Who was my overseer at that time, and me and him sat down, we had a meeting. He goes, you know, how's the store going? I said, it's garbage, we need to close it. I said, our lease is up in this month. I said, the store's not making enough money. I said, I bet you, if you look at it, you have the access better than I do. I said, come back to me and tell me. I says, are we even making enough to pay salaries? And the guy was just kind of like, well, all right. And he came back, he goes, we're shutting this bitch down. I said, absolutely, 100%. And in by saying this, Jake, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, oh my God, like this is an automotive paint store.
Yeah.
And I just told you to close the architectural store. That's what I am. I'm the architectural guy. Close the store that I'm working in.
My job, eliminate it.
Exactly. So as soon as
On your drive home, where you're like,
oh my God,
fuck,
yeah.
fuck, idiot.
God, yeah. So I'm freaking out. And within a week,
But you were being honest.
I was being open and honest. I told him flat out.
You took that route of like, you know what? I'm contributing to the thing that's bigger than me.
Exactly.
With part of your mind probably going like, somebody somewhere is going to appreciate that, and this won't be the end of my career here,
Yes.
but just in this one position because
Yeah.
that's the kind of thing that somebody who actually makes real money off of that company is really going to appreciate.
And that's that guy.
Yeah.
The new guy that we have as our district manager is awesome. I was probably the most intimidated I think I've ever been with any job I've ever had.
Wow.
Is this guy.
I don't even know what that looks like. You being like intimidated.
It's and you know what it is he dresses really well. He's very, very articulate. He's very smart.
Yeah.
And he knows what he's doing. And for the owner of my company to bring this guy in, this guy moved his whole entire family across the country. Like I'm like, all right, this dude is a big wig kind of thing.
Yeah.
But now I bet you I'm one of his number one guys.
That's
when
awesome.
we have problems in other stores, he sends me. I go in there. He says, Joe, I want your eyes on
So
this.
what I'm gleaning from what you're telling me is that what you do, you just happen to work in the paint industry.
Yes.
These skills and these things, character traits that you're talking about would be great in any managerial position.
Yes.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the reason it's paint is because your father's a painter.
My father's a painter. I went into a paint store. I got hired through that, and now I'm selling. Now I'm running one of the number one over-the-counter sale stores in the entire company.
What do you enjoy about being a manager?
I enjoy the money I make. That's for sure. I definitely enjoy the money I make. I was able to build a house, and you know what I mean. I've got a beautiful piece of property in the town that I grew up in.
Yep.
You know what I mean? That aspect, that is 100% my number one thing that I like about my job is the money I make.
It allows
and
you
the money. You know what? The Mint makes money. The money I earn.
Yeah.
I earn my money.
Yeah.
Because I work hard and
Yeah,
I
I'm sure
do
you
my
do.
job well.
But I have to say that you seem to get a lot of pleasure out of being able to say things like, the guys I hired are doing really well.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like you're just happy about the fact that that's just less stress off your back and blah, blah, blah. You seem happy for them. That
I'm happy for them too. Oh, I'm 100%. And this is the thing is I've always said this because I've hired and fired a lot of people, and it sucks. That sucks. It sucks to have to make that decision and to see that decision in my mind, the back of my mind, kind of, oh, this guy's not working out, or oh, this guy's really not in it for what he told me he was in it for. This guy really doesn't have as much knowledge as he told me did. So that's probably my least favorite is having to fire people, having to end somebody else's.
You don't like making people feel bad.
I don't like making anybody feel bad, and that was probably one of my toughest things when I got moved into this position. When we closed the architectural store, they were like, "You're going to go manage this other facility," and I'm like, "All right, sweet," because thank you, I still have a job, which is great. But I went from 3 employees under me to 9 to 9 employees under me. I went from 1 delivery truck to 5.
Wow.
So it's
That's a big
major.
jump.
It's a huge jump. It's a huge jump, and I didn't ask for a penny more. Not a penny.
Wow.
But that was one of the things that I said to myself. I said, this guy, if I go now, all of a sudden I have zero automotive paint experience. You're putting me in charge of one of your number 1 stores. Mm-hmm. Who the hell am I to ask you for more money? I have no idea how I'm going to do at this job.
Yeah, you got a lot to learn.
Yeah, actually, it was 5 days ago. It was 4 days ago. Was my 1 year in this new position. Mm-hmm. And the toughest thing that I faced right away is that everybody that was in that store, they all knew me. Mm-hmm. But now I'm in charge. I'm your boss.
Yeah.
And they all know that I come from an architectural store, but they all know how hard I work. So I met a lot of resistance in a lot of different ways.
Sure.
And I remember I got into it with one of my employees. I moved some stuff. Actually, I'm going to face it again because I know yesterday I was at work and I moved some shit that he was fighting me on. But he wasn't there. Nobody else was there. I had time, so I moved stuff. I had done that a while ago, and he was like, what makes you think you could do that behind your back? I said, dude, nothing I do in this facility is behind your back. I said, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
And I hate being like that, and I hate...
You got to lay down the law
I
sometimes.
have to lay down the law sometimes, and I just did it again with one of the other guys, too. I'm like, dude, this is my store.
Yeah.
I am in charge of this store. Every single positive thing that comes out of this thing is 100% going to be reflected upon me, as well as every single negative thing.
Yeah.
Something goes wrong, my phone rings. I get phone calls at 9 o'clock at night on a Friday, man. My boss will call me, hey, man, what's going on with this? From some email I sent them the day before. Because of my availability to be there, that's why the owners of the company are extremely happy with me.
Yeah.
That's why the head of inventory of 46 stores knows he can call me. Joe Hudnick is gonna get this done.
Yeah.
I know I can put this on his plate on top of everything else he's doing. He's gonna get it done. So yes, getting back to what we were talking about before, I really do. I want to see other people succeed.
Yeah.
I know that in my success, I can help other people succeed.
Yes.
Having a bigger team, it might be a little bit more stressful, and it might be weighs more on me when I come home and stuff like that. But at the same time, man, I can give somebody, like Tyler and Nick, an opportunity in a huge growing company.
Yeah, and you're honestly, I think that, and that's such a big deal because, those guys, and I know they're probably going to listen to this, so I'll just say that they were working at places where they're probably maxed out. You know what I mean? They were probably, short of getting like Nick worked at.
Yeah, he worked at a gas station.
Right? Which is totally respectable
convenience
job.
store,
Totally respectable job, but there's a ceiling. Something like that, and short of getting like your CDL or something like that, and becoming a driver or whatever, there's probably not a lot of room to move around,
Right.
And so I'm very happy for them that they're in a better position now to have mobility, and no pun intended since they're drivers. But they have benefits now and stuff like that, and that's really cool that you were able to give them that opportunity.
Absolutely, yeah.
And like I said, I can tell that you're very happy for them.
Yeah.
Well, let's rewind a little bit.
Yep.
I want to know if you have any experiences or moments that you remember from when you were younger that kind of that you feel like formed this person that you are. Do you remember a time when you weren't confident like this?
No.
Okay.
I don't. Most of my memories are memories that I
can't really glean a lesson out of that, but I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah, I don't. I really don't. I don't remember a time where I wasn't confident.
Yeah.
I mean, with everything, dude. The girls and jobs and friends.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, man. There's times where I question myself, but I don't let anybody else know. I'm not gonna. It's not something
you should question yourself.
Oh, 100%. That's
Yeah. You would have to be like a psychopath to just be constantly
Yeah. I find myself often, I'll be out and say I'm hanging out at a buddy's house or something like that. We're having beers and everything, and I'll say something the next morning. I'll be like, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Did that person take that the wrong way?
Yeah.
And in the moment, no, we laugh, we joke, and everything like that. I get on my own ass about stupid stuff.
Yeah.
I get inside my own head. I feel like you know what I mean. You're your own worst enemy.
Yeah.
I think I let stuff get to me sometimes, but I've learned a lot with Lauren's help.
Yeah.
But you can't let shit like that eat you up.
Yeah.
It will. It'll kill you. I got way too many gray hairs for a 33-year-old dude.
Yeah.
Way too many.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'll catch up with you.
Yeah, you probably will. Yeah, I really cannot remember a time where I was not this confident. I think a lot of it had to do too with me being doing theater and stuff like that in high school. I think that was a big thing. I've always known that I was funny. I always known I was kind of goofy. I always made people laugh.
I forgot that you did theater and stuff.
Yeah, dude, when you think about it, man.
That is a big deal.
Yeah, I wrote like two different comedy skits we did at a variety show. I did Battle of the Bands where I was lead singing for, dude, we never even practiced. I don't think not one time did we practice. I was like, yeah, dude, I'll go on stage and sing these songs.
Yeah.
And I did.
Yeah, that's wild.
You know what I mean? I was in chorus and I was in show choir.
Yep. Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that kind of thing, and that's that legitimately is just putting you up in front of a bunch of people, and you have to be able to confidently perform.
Yeah. But there is a difference between being confident in acting out something that somebody else wrote that you already know is good, versus being assertive about an idea that you have, or your opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or
exactly.
some knowledge that you're pretty sure
That's
about.
a really good point, yeah.
You know?
That's a really good point. Wow.
But I think it's the delivery that you got confident about, and then throughout the years as growing and having life experience, underneath that you got confident in your ideas. And then because again, it's one thing to be confident in your ideas, it's another thing to be able to portray them accurately and confidently. You know what I mean? So I think throughout your life, you probably gained the ability to vocalize effectively, as well as having the confidence in your ideas underneath it. You know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
Because there's a lot of really smart people out there who have a lot of really good ideas and a lot to say, but they're shit at talking.
It's saying it.
They're shit at saying it and communicating.
Yeah.
And so therefore their ideas
are
not
just
even exist. You know what I mean?
That's a really good point.
Yeah.
Wow, it makes me wish, with my ability to talk and my ability to get stuff out, I wish I had better ideas. I wish I had more ideas.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm excited to see. I want to do an offshoot project with you for sure.
Oh yeah, we should, Jake. Me and you have way too much chemistry, and our conversations have always been very in-depth.
And you also did broadcasting school too.
Yeah, I did go to broadcast. I was literally thinking about that this morning.
Yeah.
I was driving somewhere this morning, and I literally thought about that and how I never did anything with it.
Yeah.
No, it was the guy that found
You would have made a great radio personality.
Oh yeah, I would have.
Hey, this is
Joe.
It
would have been a lot of fun. And you know what it was too, though, is that I actually did the TV show for the guy that started Connecticut School of Broadcasting, Dick Robinson, the dude that founded that school.
Yeah.
I did his TV show. I edited his TV show. It was some hokey, down south retirement home, Music by the Sea, it was called. Which was fine. It was a good experience. The pay was shit.
What was going on with your work while you were doing the School of Broadcasting?
I was going there in the morning. I was driving to Robinson's Media Center, doing the TV show. After I left there, usually about 11 o'clock. It was like a part-time kind of thing, because I was able to do it quick. Mm-hmm. I would leave there. I would go meet my father on a paint job at around noonish.
Yep.
He would just be about getting done with lunch. I would work with him until probably about 4 or 5, and then I had to go work in a deli. That's when I worked at a deli at Walsh's.
Oh, okay.
And I was, Yep.
So do you think? So what's the reason you didn't pursue anything with broadcasting? Because the painting stuff was more of or the other stuff was more of a sure thing, or you just?
It was because it was money. I want to make money, and a lot of stuff with that immediate. Yeah, screw that shit, man. I'm good at stuff, so anything, and I've always said this. Anything I've ever tried, I've been decent at.
Yeah.
Decent or good at anything.
Yeah.
Anything I've ever gotten into.
I feel like I can just say that anything that I've ever tried, I feel like I'm at least functional at.
Absolutely.
I mean, I don't even want to say decent, but functional.
Yeah.
Like at least I understand what's going on.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I think that requires a certain level of confidence. Because you have to even believe that you can.
You can do it, yeah.
Grasp.
Well, it was, you know what it is, man. Broadcasting and stuff like that. You got to do an internship.
Yeah.
You want me to come? We ended slavery, so I'm not going to do that.
It's kind of a weird fact.
You know what I'm saying? You think about that, man.
Tons of people do it.
Tons of people do that. Oh, well, it's going to present you opportunities. Yeah, well, you know what? In that meantime, I'm going to go buy this condo.
Yeah, and by the time your internship would be over, you have a career.
I have a career. That's one of the reasons why I'm extremely grateful that I never went to college. I never went to college, man. I had friends of mine, they were graduating college, man. They were coming out and they had, $150,000 in debt. And I was like, well, I own a condo and my truck is paid for, and you know what I mean? Now I have two properties and 3 vehicles. Like, nah, I think I'm doing pretty good. But I also think that ties into my personality, my confidence. It does. I think that's a really big reason. I'm very fortunate to be as successful as I am, not having any extra schooling. Because I wasn't like a stellar student.
Well, I think we're realizing in today's day and age that college, I don't even want to say the words college is overrated because
I've said it so many times.
It's not. The thing is, college is not overrated. What happened is everybody started going to college.
Everybody goes to
and
college.
it made it meaningless.
Yep, exactly.
Because if everybody goes to college, then nobody's. It's like it floods the market basically.
100%.
Because like you go to college. First of all, going to college doesn't make you special.
No,
it used to.
It used to,
but it doesn't. People think that it still does. That's why people still go. So then you get out and you're like, well, I'm special now. And then you go to get a job and
I'm a college graduate. Yeah, well,
go to get a
good
job
for
and
you.
you're like, motherfucker, you're not special.
Not for nothing, man.
And by the way, while you're over there talking about how special you are, we need somebody to clean this shit up.
Yes, exactly. We need ditch diggers.
And you're like, well, I'm not doing that because I went to college.
Yeah.
And I deserve more, blah, blah, blah.
I gotta pay these fucking school loans, dude.
Yeah.
Well, you know what, bro? Like, I got 4 years of work experience over you right now.
That'd be clear.
And no debt.
To be clear, I did start going down that road.
Right.
And I left college because I was like, I don't think I want to be an engineer, and I'd rather just start making money.
Yeah.
Like, I want some money.
I want money.
So I got a job and started a career, and then I left it, but that's a different story. It's not.
Well, see, that's one of the things that probably, deep down, I'm constantly fearful.
Yeah.
Because if I lose my job, I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? But
well, we established you're a great manager, and everybody needs a good manager.
Exactly.
So you're fine.
It was literally
that is a legit skill that you have, and you honed yourself.
Yeah, I had.
Granted, that skill was developed by just your life experience,
Right?
Because you can't. There's no college of confidence.
No, you can't. No,
You probably could though if somebody really put.
Well, you go. What's his name? You go see that freaking. Some motivational speakers.
People would pass and fail that college just like they do every other
100%.
college. You
Yep,
know?
absolutely.
But instead, the way you get confidence, is paying $5,000 for a weekend to go see Tony Robbins, and that only gets you to the next stepping stone anyway.
Exactly.
Stuff like that.
And if you're freaking bumping along, you're going to be a bump along when you come back. You're going to be high as a kite for that weekend that you're there,
right?
And thinking, oh my God, this is going to change my life. But I bet you know what I mean.
It takes a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had a lot of conversations about this lately, and that confidence is not it's not an overnight thing. It's not a big step thing. It's a slow build.
Yeah.
It's a lot of small things. It's saying confidence happens when you try something and it worked, or something came out the way you tried to make it come out over and 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 over.
Yeah.
And the nice thing about it is that sometimes when stuff doesn't happen the way you wanted it to, you can handle it because a lot of the time that it did. But it's about a lot of that happening in a lot of small ways.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, actually, now that you say that, I do. A time when I was not confident.
Or just during your formative years.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot easier to build personality traits during your formative years of like high school, and that's when you were doing performance.
And that's what I was doing, all
like
that kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah. I would say after breakups.
Yeah.
After the long relationship I had through high school, and after we broke up, that was
probably a haircut.
Yeah.
A breakup haircut.
Breakup haircuts are the best, dude. I've always said that. I actually said that when you shaved your head. I said, "Is this a cry for help?" Oh, no. When you sent me that picture, I'm like, "Oh, he shaved his head." I think I even said something. To
Better get the spare room ready.
I said something to Nick and Tyler. I said, "Oh, he's gonna move home again."
Again, I didn't do it. No.
Oh wow, yeah.
Let's not get into that.
Let's not get into that. I really would say that I really don't know how I would define myself.
That's okay.
I don't know how I would define myself. I wouldn't. It definitely couldn't be one word.
Well,
you know
all right.
I mean?
So let's switch gears a little bit because you're a father now.
Yeah.
So maybe it's too early for you to start defining yourself that way because
I'm a father. Yeah, this is still new. My kids too.
Yeah.
My kids too. You know what's crazy? I'm extremely confident that kid's going to be awesome because I'm going to raise him right.
Yeah.
I'm like, and you know what, Jake? It blows my mind because I'm like, what the hell am I talking about? I have no experience.
Right.
And I'm like,
Right.
I know that he's going to be a good person.
Yeah, but the thing is, you know, I saw a billboard one time that was something like, you don't have to be a perfect person to be a perfect parent, or something like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like your confidence will get you a long way, because the thing is, at the end of the day, like your kid is not gonna die if you make a bad decision.
No.
You know what I mean?
God for hopefully not, yeah.
Well, you have to make a really bad decision, but you know what I mean? Like if you you know, I don't know. I can't think of any good examples, but
Yeah.
you know, it's the fact that you have that confidence means that at the very least you're going to instill a confidence in your kid.
Yeah,
You know what I
absolutely.
mean?
Well, I think it's a big thing. You know what? That is something that my parents have always. I don't remember when or any of the specific statements that they've ever said, but I know that my parents have always built me up. You have to have pride.
Yeah.
Pride, I think, is a really big part of being confident.
Well, and the opposite of pride is shame.
Yeah.
Right?
And you need to have shame. You can't, you know what?
But it has to be well-placed shame.
Exactly.
It can't be constant shame.
You can't, no,
Yeah.
because that's how you could break somebody down.
You have to have
with
the
that.
balance.
Yes,
You can't
exactly.
have nothing but pride, but you also can't have nothing but shame.
Exactly. Well, you know what? You can't
I mean,
you can't be brave unless you're scared.
All right, so do me a favor, because I'm thinking of a story right now that might be a good story to tell right at this moment. Tell me about the time that I think what happened was I think you got arrested or something at school for having weed or
Yeah.
something.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So
Yeah,
tell
I was
me-
like
tell that-
14.
do me a favor and tell that story.
Okay. I was 14 years old. I picked up a quarter bag off of this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody saw it. Somebody said something, ratted on me. I got pulled into the office. I got caught with it, totally forgetting that I had a whole nother bag of weed in a cigarette pack. 14 years old, 2 bags of weed and cigarettes, a freshman in high school. And so I got arrested. I had to sign a promise to appear. My father had to come pick me up. And now in retrospect, I'm going to remember to make sure I teach my kid this. Don't say a fucking word until I'm there. Because you can't, that's illegal,
You can
man.
dig
You can't-
yourself in a hole too. Yeah,
Exactly. So
especially a kid,
I could have never had to empty my pockets, nothing. I would have called my father. I'm not saying shit.
Yeah.
You're a kid. You don't know any different. You don't know any better. But so anyway, my father comes, picks me up. My father made my court date. It was a promise to appear, so they were actually able to say, what day do you want to go? My father made it on my sister's birthday. I'll never forget that. The first court date I ever had was June 15th. I don't remember the year, but it was Jackie's birthday. So I'll never forget it. And we get into the car, and before he started the truck, I remember sitting right outside the high school, and my father just says to me, he says, Joey, he says, every single day as a parent, I learn something new. He says, and I've never had to pick my kid up from school because he got arrested for pot. So this is a new one for me. You want some ice cream? And we went out for ice cream. And I remember, it's clear as day, man. I remember just kind of laughing, and I realized that's probably one of the...
Hold on. What did you think was going to happen when your dad picked you up?
I was shitting a brick, man.
Yeah.
14 years old, dude. You got caught with weed, man.
Yeah.
Fucking a cop is sitting in the room with the principal of the school, dude. I was freaking out.
Yeah.
I wasn't scared. I wasn't really scared that my father was
You weren't
coming.
scared he was going to beat you.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
No, I knew that I had a lot of shame. I had a lot of, I'm going to be grounded. But when you're looking back on shit like that, you can't.
Yeah.
You don't know what, you know what I mean? All I remember is that was one of the first times that I realized that, like, my dad is just a person too.
Yeah.
He doesn't know.
That's
what
a
the hell it's
powerful
like.
thing to realize.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the first time he's ever had to experience it, and he'll never experience that again.
Yeah.
That one moment in his life
Yeah.
is that I shared that moment with him.
Yeah, he had a decision. To
He
make.
had a decision
How
to make.
big of a deal do I make this?
Exactly.
Do I? Because that could have been that could have decided a lot of things about how your life went.
100%. Yeah.
Your father accepted you.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely. Go ahead.
I was just going to say he didn't shame you.
No.
I think he could tell that you had your own
I had
sense
my
of
own
shame.
shame. Exactly.
And that was enough. Mm-hmm. That was enough for you to be like, all right, I fucked up.
Yep.
My dad doesn't hate me. Mm-hmm. Everything's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yep.
The world isn't over. My dad isn't going to disown me.
Nope. That was one of those things where I remember that specific moment. I know that we probably went home and I had to tell my mother, and we probably had multiple discussions, and they probably, I don't remember any of it specifically, but I'm sure they must have talked to me about.
Where did we go wrong?
Yeah, right. They must have had conversations with me about how this could really screw my life up. I got expelled.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I got expelled from school, man. I couldn't go back to school. That was actually, well, when you get expelled, it was like a temporary expulsion.
Yeah.
I was out of school for a half a year or something like that. Only time I made an honor student, because they had to send us, they have to teach you, they have to educate you. Kids have to have an education. Right. So I actually had a tutor that came to the house all the time. I remember that. That was for, I remember having to do all the work at school. I had so much time, and, I wasn't at school. And my father, I was 14, my father made me work. Yeah. I had to go to work. He made me work. He paid me.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I had a tutor. It was the only time I made the honor roll. So a lot of it was my own experience. But then I also remember, too, my father fought for me to make sure that he can get back into school. You know what I mean? Yeah. I remember my father with the superintendent of the school, the principal, the vice principal. I think the officer was there. It was like my expulsion hearing, basically, with the school board and everything. And my father was like, he's a kid. He's a kid. He screwed up. You know what I mean? He says, and I think I remember, this is probably one of the reasons why it sticks in my head, is because he said, the whole reason we have institutions and prisons and arrests and everything is to help rehabilitate people. Yeah. He says, now you're going to take this kid who's 14 years old, screwed up, and you're going to expel him, and then he's going to have to go to some other school. He's going to lose all of his friends. Everything is going to change. That can change him forever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So rehabilitate him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's use the thing. And I remember the cop kind of nodding. I do remember that. Because my dad did. He fought for me to be able to get back into school, which was cool. And not only that, but my father, this might go back to the whole idea of like Castro said about everything was just kind of handed to you. My father's really big in the town. You know what I mean? Being in a Lions Club, everybody knows my father. Yeah, everybody knew my father. I've gotten out a couple tickets here and there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but he didn't throw his weight around.
Not in the least. Nope.
He made a legit point.
Oh, yeah.
What he said was very wise.
Yes.
He didn't just say, hey, I'm Joe Hunting, this is my goddamn son, you're going to let him back in here, there's going to be consequences.
Not in the least. My father would have done that.
But because they maybe knew who he was a little bit, they had
trusted his judgment.
They heard him out.
Exactly.
And he happened to be right.
And my father would have done that for any other kid. Yeah. If my father would have advocated for some stranger he never even met, but if he was sitting in there and he had the right to say something, he would have said something for some other kid.
Yeah, I believe that for sure.
Yeah, definitely. But you want to go out for ice cream? I'll never forget that forever. But
yeah, I'm stoned. I love some ice cream right now.
No, I wasn't high. I probably went to school high that day. I probably did. But yeah, I still react, but I still smoke pot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I mean that's Joe Rogan talks about. He's like, I can't stand when people say pot's for losers. He goes, no,
it's ridiculous.
Some losers smoke pot. Mm-hmm. Some people are fine and successful in smoke pot, but those people aren't going around telling you about how much pot they smoke.
No.
Because they have bigger fish to fry.
That's it. I'm just busy, man.
Yeah, like you're not walking around in pot leaf socks and hats and shit.
No,
like
exactly. Yes, exactly.
The pot culture makes it look bad.
Well, that's the thing too, man. Is I don't know. I think that a lot of me being the person that I am, honestly, has a lot to do with hallucinogens that I've done. Yeah. I have had so many times that I've done drugs that have really expanded my mind and made me realize how insignificant human existence really is, other than the fact that our interactions with each other and our experiences that we have with our loved ones and our friends and our family and everything like that is what makes this so significant.
That's all there is.
That's all there is. That's all it comes down to.
And the rest is just trying to make things okay in between those moments of connection.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it is, man. Human existence is so crucial to human existence.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
It sounds silly to say it that way, but I know exactly. It's that, the essence of being a human is connecting with other humans.
With other humans.
We're a tribal species, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. We're a clan species, and if you're going around being an asshole, you're gonna have a shitty human experience.
You're gonna have a bad experience.
It's not gonna be fun. Yeah. You know?
Well, see, this is the thing. You're like,
But saying that, if you hear that the wrong way, it makes it sound selfish to be a nice person. You know what I mean? but it isn't, and it is.
Yeah.
Because
I
when
can
you're a
kinda-
nice person, I was saying this earlier today that you kind of have to. I heard this guy say this the other day. He said, "I live my life 50% selfish, 50% altruistic. 50% from worrying about me, and then the other 50% I divvy it up for the rest of the world and other people. Because first of all, nobody else is. You can't rely on other people to look out for you.
Yeah, to look out for you. That's really good. Yeah, I like
You can't
that.
rely on that. You have, and the thing is, I was saying this earlier today. Until you have yourself, until you're good, what you have to give other people is going to be diminished.
It's going to be, yeah, you're right.
You can't ever truly love another person until you know how to love yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? And
Yes. And I believe that big time. That's crucial.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true.
100%
Yeah,
true.
you can't give anybody anything from yourself if you can't take care of yourself
Yeah.
first.
Yeah. Which is probably part of the reason you're good at your job.
Yeah. I want to see other people succeed, man. I really
Yeah.
do. I like
Yeah.
to see people succeed.
Because you know how good it feels
It's
to succeed.
fantastic.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. No, like, dude, I wake up every morning, I open the blinds in my bedroom, I look out over my backyard, which is, I love it.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, holy shit, like, I did this. I did this.
Yeah, you did.
You know what I mean? I did this.
But with the support of awesome
Yeah.
parents.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And see, that's one of the things too, man, is like that, a lot of friends that I had back in the day when I was young, and it blows my mind how people go in different directions. Because my closest best friends back in the day, a lot of them are fucking dirtbags now, dude. And it sucks, and it upsets me.
I know.
One of them called me out of the blue, and I usually don't answer the phone. When I saw the phone ring, I thought it was actually Lauren's uncle, because they have the same name. So I pick up the phone, and I'm like, "Hey, man, what's going on?" Like, really happy inflection. And I definitely gave this guy the wrong impression. Like, I was happy to hear from him. And I'm like, whatever, I'm not going to be a jerk.
Right.
Hey, man, what's going on, blah, blah. It was happened to be that I was on my way home for lunch. So he starts just telling me, the same old song and dance and everything about this and that, dude. And I got to a point. I said, bro, what's up, dude? Dude, you think maybe I can get some money?
Mark for cut. Who are you talking about?
Jim Eustace.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway.
So he hits me up, and dude, you know what? Me and him lost contact for a long time. That dude calls me all the time on my birthday. I almost always call him or text him on his birthday. For whatever reason, me and him have always done that for each other. So I think back in the back of my mind, I feel like I really want to see him succeed. I do.
Yeah.
But he calls me up, he hits me up, and, I'm not the same guy I used to be. I've changed. And I'm like, dude, no, you haven't. I said...
And he said the same thing to you.
He said so many times. But this is the first time he's ever asked me for money.
Oh, really?
Asks me for money. And, absolutely not, dude. Not happening. I said, no, not a chance, bro. I said, I got freaking 2 mortgages I got to pay, and I got 3 car payments. I'm like, no, dude, I can't give you any money, dude. No. I said, that won't help you.
Yeah.
It won't help you.
Yeah.
I said, you're in the same, no, dude, I've changed. I'm different. He says, you're not, though, bro. I says, you're not. And you know what? And it's not even, and I don't need to pussyfoot around it anymore, dude. You need to fucking change your life, bro. I said, it's a choice, man. You need to make better decisions.
Yeah.
You've been making bad decisions for decades.
Yeah.
4 decades. And I did, man. My heart kind of broke for him. He was like, bro, he says, dude, I'm going to the soup kitchen to eat, dude. He says, I'm walking to the soup kitchen. And I said, you know what, though, bro? You can walk to get a job application.
Yeah.
I need money for gas. He says, he didn't even have a car. He says, I need money for bus fare. I said, that's not going to help you, dude. I said, are you really going to the soup kitchen? He goes, yeah. So I went to the store, and I bought him a bunch of groceries.
Yeah.
Where do you live, dude? I'm coming over. After I got out of work that day, I brought him groceries. Dude, I really, really appreciate it. I said, good, man. I said, He's like, how's everything? I said, dude, my life is fucking aces. I said, it's awesome. I said, I got a beautiful son. I got a beautiful wife. I have a fantastic family. I just built a house next door to my best friend.
Yep.
And I got my other neighbor, my other best friend is literally a minute around the corner. I said, my life is fantastic. I wish I could say to him, oh, well, fuck that, dude. Why am I gonna diminish my successes because he's having a rough time right now?
Yeah.
And I just told him, and you know what, dude, a lot of me, of course you know me, man, it still eats me up that I was so tough on him. But I said to him, I said, bro, you totally He's a confident guy. He's a very loving, kind person. He's just stupid. And he makes bad decisions.
Yeah.
You can change this, bro.
Yeah.
You can change this, dude. And now, as far as I know, dude, he ended up getting a job. He's doing decent.
Good.
And I remember he said to me, and he was getting upset with me. He was getting mad, and rightfully so, because I wasn't mean, but I wasn't nice. You know what I'm saying? I was kind of rough on him, and he was like, "Yo, you sound like my parents." And I said, "Well, dude,
Maybe you should listen to your parents."
I said, "No." I told him flat out. I said, "Well, dude, I'm a dad now, so." Mate, I'm a parent too, dude. You know what I mean? And it was like I was like, "Oh, holy crap!" You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I've become the father. But you know, it just it bothers me a lot when I see people having rough times. It bothers me a lot, and it's people that I was close with when I was younger, man, hanging out, partying, drinking too young, and smoking cigarettes, and you know what I mean, getting high and skipping class and this and that. There's no reason you couldn't have succeeded too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I was there for you, dude. My family was there for you. We were, you know what I mean?
Well, it's interesting that you say that, because when I was talking to, one of the other conversations that I had, I was talking to my dad, and he was talking about how his parents didn't exactly, in so many words, he said his parents didn't exactly help him form his moral compass. He kind of had to do that on his own, and it happened in kind of a wonky way for a while, but he ended up getting a lot of guidance, and a lot of the positive examples in his life were parents of girls he was dating. Family, he ended up, I don't know if we didn't get into too many details, but, females in his life, their families were role models. I don't want to say role models, but, he saw them.
Yeah.
He saw what could be, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And I think that seeing that, slowly got him to the point where he, when he did have children, he took that as an opportunity to be better and stuff like that,
Right.
Because it wasn't. So it's possible, is my point. With the phenomenon you're talking about, you're not just talking out of your ass. The phenomenon you're talking about is possible, and I wonder what it is that allows someone to take advantage of that, because clearly they didn't. Some of those people you're talking about.
Yeah, they don't.
But you have friends that I imagine that did take advantage of that. Because your dad was telling me the other day when I was talking to him about how there's friends that you guys would have over, and they would write what they need on the grocery list and they'd pick it up.
Yeah.
So much to the point where some of the girls would write down their feminine products that they needed.
My father would go get them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing, is that my
But that kind of mentality is an opportunity that can be not necessarily. That's something that you can use, to help yourself, to be around. You
Absolutely.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a pretty profound thing, that.
Dude, one of my buddies, we were going through high school, man. My father, the kid, all the shoes the kid wore were from my father.
Yeah.
My dad gave the kid like fucking 6 pairs of shoes, and it's not even like the kid was hard up and needed shoes. My dad was like, "What size shoe do you wear?"
Yeah.
He goes, "I don't like these." Sweet. And so it got to the point where it was like kind of like a joke. We'd be like, "What kind of shoes you got for me now, big hut?" You know what I mean? My dad would be like, "What? Do you need something? He was like, yeah, like jokingly, but my dad would go buy the kid boots.
That's awesome.
Like just just for the humor of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah, I am. I'm very, very, very fortunate to have had the parents that I have.
Yeah.
To have had the experiences with them that I've had, and the way that they've taught me stuff. You know what it is, man, is I almost feel like I take it for granted because I don't remember it. I don't remember those specific things that really molded me. I don't, what I mean?
You can say those words, but you're carrying on their legacy.
Yeah.
So you didn't take it for granted.
No.
You're putting it into practice in some of the most real ways that
Right.
you can.
You know what? I think
the fact that you're not walking around talking about how great your parents raised you all the time, that's fine. You don't need to do that. The fact that you're a good father and you're a good person, and your son is obviously going to be a good person, that's all they need to see.
Yeah.
They don't need accolades, dude.
Yeah.
They just, you're carrying on, the legacy of love and compassion. You know?
Well, that was, you know what? I'll never forget the day that I bought the house. When the day we closed on this house, I remember my mother was waiting outside with a 12-pack of Bud Light for herself and a 12-pack of Budweiser for me. And I remember she had ice in the cooler. I think she probably brought some snacks and stuff like that. She was waiting outside the lawyer's office, waiting for me to walk outside. And now, you know, I'd bought a condo before, so but I built the house.
This is different.
It's different. It was big. This is where I'm going to raise my. This is where my kids.
You
are
showed up and picked a unit with your condo.
Exactly.
You planned your life.
Exactly.
You planned
Yes.
the future, planned your life.
And I remember standing at the top of my driveway, and I just started crying thinking about it.
Yeah.
And my mom was there, and I remember my father ended up coming over too, and it was not that they had never said that they were proud of me before, but it was the first time that I was proud when they told me how proud of me they were.
That's something else.
Yeah, it was like that weird. I'll never forget it. It was awesome. It was an awesome experience to have, and you know, one of my close friends went through the same experience as me of building his house and doing that. Mm-hmm. And when he first went home, his mother was yelling at him to get his shit out of the house. After that moment that I had, because I remember he came up the driveway too, and it breaks my heart to think about it. I'm so lucky that my parents were there for me like that, and then to think that he accomplished the same thing I did. And he went to the house as happy as can be, and his mother just. That sucks.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Couldn't be happy for him for some reason.
Couldn't be happy for him. Why? What's like? You can't think about. You know.
Yeah. It boggles my mind to try to understand that phenomenon of people who have had a shit life and turn out amazing, and people who have had a fine life and also turn out amazing. People who've had a shit life and turn out shit. It's so hard to pinpoint. You can't pinpoint it because it's so much bigger than that. So much more of a process.
Yeah.
But it's like. I want to understand how it's hard because people don't even know it themselves how the kind of stuff happens. I was talking to my dad about this earlier. There are these kids on my street. There's a bunch of kids on my street, and they're outside all the time. That's as far as I can tell from what I hear. Everyone's like, kids don't spend enough time outside. Kids don't spend enough time outside. iPads, iPhones, they all have cell phones, too young, computers, video games, blah, blah, blah. These kids are outside every day playing with each other, happy as clams.
Yeah.
But I know I know that they're poor.
Right.
They can't afford that stuff.
Right.
But they're outside.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like
a different reason for kids to be outside. That's
right. But they're interacting with each other. They're experimenting socially. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're not getting bogged down by the how hard it is to effectively communicate via a computer. You know what I mean? They're not watching insane videos and stuff like that. They're not spending their whole afternoon after school on Facebook. You know what I mean? So it's like, are these kids candidates to be successful people later? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, why not?
Or maybe when they walk in that door, they get beat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because their parents are uneducated, and that's why they're poor. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, see, this is one of the things. That's what Lauren used to do for work, man. Lauren would go and she would be helping those kids.
Yeah.
Guaranteed, dude.
Well, that's my question.
It's generational. I remember, I'll never forget this for as long as I live. My wife was working for a family, and she was a therapist for the kid. And by being a therapist for the kid, you have to interact with the parents. You have to talk about, you know, what's best for the kid's development. How are kids perceiving certain things? And the woman's boyfriend was dealing drugs out of the house. It was, you know, all hours of the night, shit like that. And the mother was telling my wife about it and everything. And Lauren was explaining some of the stuff to me, not really going into too many details or anything, but she says, you know what, Joe? She goes, but this woman, when she was a kid, she was homeless. The fact that she's inside and her kids have a roof over her head, she is doing so much better than her
from our perspective.
Our perspective is like, dude, get your shit together. You know what I mean? But at the same time, dude, both of my parents were on fucking government assistance when they were kids. They both grew up in ghettos. 100%. My father in Bridgeport, my mother in Waterbury.
Mine too, yeah.
Poor, dude.
Yeah,
poor.
But you would never know that looking at us.
Nope. Well, this is the thing, though.
Because at some point, this is the thing, is that, like, I like to think it's a decision, you know, but I don't think it is a decision that, like, at some point our parents said, I'm not going to continue that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do better. But maybe they didn't think that consciously. No. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But your mom kind of said that she did,
My mother
But I think that
absolutely.
she keeps that in her head, but I don't know that that's a line that she drew and made that decision at some point.
I think
Maybe
that
it is.
It
I don't
probably
know.
it must.
She made it sound like it
must
was.
be. It must be, Jake, because think about it, man. I honestly, my mother. I'm extremely fortunate to have the mother I have. She's one of the number one reasons why I am so successful being a manager and managing people. My mother's been managing people. That's what my mom does.
Yeah.
Dude, when I'm in a bind and I'm like, I don't really know how to perceive this
exactly
thing,
what to do,
I call her and I'm like, Ma, listen, I got to talk to you. And it's so funny because anytime, like every once in a while, we'll go out to dinner or something like that. And she'll be like, oh, do you want to invite Jack? And I'm like, I do. But not tonight.
Yeah.
And me and my mom, usually we go out to dinner, man, and we'll be there for 2.5, 3 hours, eating and drinking and everything like that. And we're talking about work.
Yeah.
But by talking about work, we talk about life stuff and how, person interaction. How is this person going to perceive this?
Well, we like to act like there's a separation, but there isn't.
There's no separation. I spend more time
just
with
humans out in the world. We happen to spend our time doing certain things in certain buildings that have certain rules, but it's all the same.
It's all the same.
Same stuff.
It is.
It's a relation. You have relationships. Some of those you have sex with the person. Some of it you're in control of their pay. Some of it you meet them for 2 minutes and pay them for your gas.
And that's
you
it.
know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's it.
Yep.
But all of those people are deserving of your respect and your
100%,
compassion.
yes.
Because you don't know what they came from or what they went through or what they've overcome to get to that cashier position.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know.
One of the things I always think about is when every time I'm on the phone with somebody, or I'm at work, like I can be, son of a freaking out, yelling and screaming, like getting all pissed off, man, as soon as that phone rings. Hi, this is Joe. What can I do for? Oh, absolutely. Let me do. My inflection is so important, man. You got to be, you know what I mean? Like it's crucial in those situations. And at the same time, I see how freaking miserable some people are.
Yeah.
Yesterday, I was at work, and one of the people that works the phones said to me, they were like, Joe, how are you always so happy? How do you always have this much energy? Like, what makes you so happy all the time? I'm like, because I decide to be happy.
It's a practice.
You have to.
Yeah.
Dude, I can be miserable every day.
Yeah.
I can absolutely find well, I have, every day people just kick me in the balls. And I'm like, no, yeah, but you let it.
Yeah.
You let the pain in your balls affect your day. I don't.
You don't have a victim mentality.
No, not in the least, man.
You choose.
Yeah,
absolutely. This is already becoming a recurring theme. Is that happiness and compassion and positivity they're all a practice.
Yes.
Love is a practice.
Yes.
It
is.
Because doing shitty stuff and being a shitty person is almost always the easier decision.
100% the easier thing. You know what, man? I motherfucked a guy that cuts me off and pisses me off because he's not turning the signal light on, and I get all pissed. But you know what I normally do to get over that when I'm all pissy? Is I make some stupid joke. Or I think about what is his life like.
Yeah.
What is this person's life like? What is he doing for work? Is he late for work? Maybe he's late for work, man. Maybe it's the last time he can be late to work.
Yeah.
What if this dude's on his way and he's speeding and he cut me off because he
got up early and he got up early and he walked aside and his tire was flat and he's like, God damn it!
And I try so hard to do stuff like that, and it's
hard though.
It's hard. It's very, very difficult to consistently have compassion.
That's
for
why
people.
it's called a practice.
Exactly.
You have to keep at it.
That's what I think is probably one of the biggest things that I've been working on mostly for myself, with Lauren's help a lot too, is leaving it at work. That was a really big problem for me for a long time because I was scared of failure. I'm scared of failure, so I work really hard and I try not to fail. But I was bringing it home. I was constantly thinking about work. When I first moved into that position, man, I wasn't sleeping good.
Yeah, you and I talked during that, and I had no idea. You told me that you were really stressed out and stuff, and I was like, that sucks.
It does.
Because I know you very well.
Not only that, I had just finished building my house.
That takes a lot for you to get like that. That's why that impacted me, because I was like, he must be really stressed out if he's telling me about it.
It was bad. It was really bad for a long time. It got to the point, man, where I was like, there were days where I would just like, okay, I'm going to watch this movie and just cry for hours. But I knew that it had nothing to do with the movie, man.
Yeah,
it was because I was so stressed out. Yeah, it sucked. It sucked for a long time. It got to the point where, and I know that it was more so because I was freaking out that I need to succeed.
Yeah.
Right now, I need to succeed. My wife is pregnant. I just finished building this house. I got this huge mortgage. I got to pay.
Just
pressure, constant pressure. And not only that, but what if I fail?
Yeah.
What am I going to do? What am I going to do? Am I going to have to move back into my condo? Am I going to, you know what I mean? So it was like that weird thing. It's like, oh my God, this house, this property I built, and this place where I wanted to raise my kid. I started to learn that I need to cope better. I needed to figure out ways to cope. I needed to just not bring it home. I needed to not stress about it.
How do you do that, though?
I think instead of harping on certain situations, one of my big things that I do to myself all the time, dude, is I'll talk to myself about what I want to talk to a specific employee about.
Okay.
Out loud.
Well, that's interesting because I'm sure you know this, but your brain does process thoughts differently when you say them out loud. I can tell you how many times I've been stuck on something, and I'll be like, "Hey, can you come here for a second? I'm trying to figure out blah 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 blah." And before I finish the sentence, I'm like, "Never mind, I got it."
Yeah. 100%. So I started doing that, but I realized that by doing that, it was making me pissed off because I didn't have any reaction. Wasn't getting the return from the conversation. So I was having this conversation basically subconsciously, probably like practicing what I wanted to say out loud and being a dick when I was by myself. So when I got there, I could kind of like, can't say that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So that was one of the things I did to help cope with that. Also, I needed to find my confidence. Yeah. I needed to say, dude, you're good. Yeah. You're good at your job.
So that confidence that we talked about earlier kind of got, I don't want to say, you kind of maybe forgot about it from all the pressure. Yeah. And had to rethink it a little bit.
Well, yeah, because I had to close a whole store. A store that I built. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like when I did that with that company, man, and we started that other separate thing. Yeah. I built it. That was my store. I figured out the layouts.
So basically, you had just dove headfirst into a bunch of situations at once that you've never experienced before. Whereas before it was like one thing at a time, a small thing, a little bit here, add it on. But now it's like pregnant wife, brand new big ass house, and being a manager on a level that is 3 times what we were doing before.
They say, well, all at once. All at once. Well, think about it, Jake. They say
it'd be tough to have the kind of confidence to really to handle all that very well.
They say that some of the most stressful things in life are getting married, having a kid, moving into a new house, and losing somebody. In 4 years, I lost my grandfather, got married, had my kid, and moved in my house. And had to close the store and move and moving a job position. It was a 5-year period where they say the 5 most losing somebody.
Get it all over at once.
It was, dude.
You're good now,
Jake, it was everything was so fast paced. And dude, time it goes by like that. Yeah. It just keeps going by faster and faster and faster and faster. Yeah. So in 5 years of my life, I experienced all those things. Yeah. And it was insane. And then I had to change my job again. Yeah. You know what I mean? So it was a lot all at once. I gotta say that Lauren has really been a rock for me in a lot of ways. Lauren is it's so funny because
I can't wait to sit down with her.
Yeah, she's Lauren. I really want you guys to do this too.
We will. We will.
Lauren's very confident. It's one of the first things I fell in love with Lauren about. She's extremely confident.
She really is.
She's very, very confident, and Lauren is so laid back. And Lauren is tough. Lauren's a tough woman. And I respect her so much for it. But Lauren is very, very, very good at playing devil's advocate with stuff. Almost to the point where it frustrates me. When I'm like, would you just, maybe
just agree with me?
Just agree with me, But I realize that
think about the other point of view.
I don't give a shit what they're feeling. Telling me I'm right. I literally said that to her today. I said, just every once in a while.
You got to think about
And she's right though, because
sure. It's a good thing to have around.
Why would that guy that cut me off, man? No, I'm just going to get a baseball bat and smash his windshield when I see him park. No, dude, what if he's having a shitty day?
Yeah, what if his dad just died?
What if you never know what the situation is?
What if his dad just died?
What if he's on his way to hospital?
Yeah, right.
You know what I'm saying? So
and he thinks he's going to miss the moment. Yeah,
so a lot of my coping and my ability to deal with stuff was Lauren's way of talking to me about it. Well, why do you feel that way? How do you think it can change? And she helped me kind of just slow down. My brain is going a million miles.
Well, that's the thing. Asking you questions like that will tease your own thoughts out and get you to kind of,
So that's
reflect.
Exactly. Yeah. And you can't.
She's a good mirror for you.
Yes, exactly. Because a lot of times.
Justin Timberlake.
Oh yeah.
He's got that song Mirror. mirrors or whatever.
I take your word for it.
It's a song about another person being a good mirror for you. You help you reflect upon yourself. And your
I like
life.
that. That's
Yeah.
good.
It's a good song too.
Timberlake. What a good-looking guy too.
Just he's just
He's fantastic. He's so talented.
yeah.
But yeah, I think that's. I just you know what? And by talking about this, I've realized that that's what it was. Is I needed to just be confident. I literally did. I went into my boss's office maybe about a week or two ago, and I hadn't heard anything negative about the year that I was running the store or anything like that. But I just sat down and I'm like, so how am I doing? What's up, dude? I'm coming up on a year, man. How am I doing?
Yeah.
And he kind of, obviously he's the boss, so you can't be like, oh, you're fantastic. He doesn't know what I'm about to ask him for.
Yeah,
he doesn't know if I want more money. All right, good, yeah, I'm kicking ass, dude. What's up with some pay?
Right.
He doesn't know, so he was like, no, dude. He says, we're very happy with you. You know what I mean? You're doing a good job. The store seems like it's running well. Blah blah blah. And I was like, sweet, give me another week's vacation. He was like, how long have you been with the company? He's like, that seems fine. And I'm like, damn it, I should have asked for more money too. But I didn't. But you know what though?
There'll be a time.
There'll be a time. Yeah. I'm not worried about it. So yeah, I think I needed to find my confidence in this new position.
Yeah.
I needed to find my confidence in this position, and I have it now too. And I think a lot of it has to do with. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say if I could ask you because I think we're getting to a good time to start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
Do you think what could you say is some decent advice for somebody who is not so confident?
Wow, that's a really hard question.
Okay, all right, I'll answer the question if you don't have an answer. Do you
Yeah.
have an answer?
I don't think I do. Somebody that's not
Well,
confident.
I'll just sum up something we already kind of said.
Be confident.
Well,
choose to be
fake it till you
confident.
make it can work.
Fake it till you make
But
it.
while you're faking it, set up small wins for yourself.
Yeah.
Set up small wins, things you know you can succeed at, things you know, even if it's just like cleaning something all the time or making your bed every morning.
Right.
Just do small things you can feel good about that you decided to do that went the way you wanted. Small things that might even sound stupid, but they have to be simple enough that you know the outcome.
You
is
know the
gonna be.
outcome.
And just set up a lot of those, and then you'll figure out bigger ones that you.
I
can use.
think I would. If somebody actually said to me, "How can I be more confident?" I would ask them, "What are you confident with?"
Who are you already confident with?
What are you already confident with? Well, why? Why are you? I would just
Yeah.
ask them more questions to kind of, pretty much like Jake. We were sitting here bullshitting and we were talking and everything like that. It made me. This is great.
This is great, right?
This is great. I feel really good, dude. Because you know what? Like, you don't realize some things until you have to talk about them. You don't. You don't even realize.
What's cool about this is that it's like the people that I'm talking to, I see them a certain way, and what I'm getting, what seems to be the thing I'm accomplishing, is I'm getting the people I'm talking to fully understand the way I see them.
Oh. Wow.
But they're saying all the things.
They're saying all the things.
Saying them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's got. You see, that's something that only you can experience, though. That's pretty cool. I should do a podcast.
Hey,
I should. I definitely should. Yeah, no, I want to. Well, I will someday. I don't have time right now, man.
Yeah, I hear you.
You know what I mean? This is the thing, Jake, because I don't want another fucking thing to manage.
just for now, just be on mine once in a while.
Yeah, I will. That's it. I would love to.
Let's wrap this up. I think
right.
that was wonderful. Thank you so much for doing this.
Absolutely.
I love you.
I love you too, man.